Hey, it's MK, and I am back with Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches. Here is the sketch that we will be doing, and I'm actually going to turn mine on the side yet again. I finally remembered to pull out these really cool circle stickers by the Vicky Boutin sticker book. I also found these little circles too, but I do end up not using them because I didn't realize that they all had little holes in them for tags. I also have this Heidi Swap little chipboard that was minked, and so now it's gold. And then these are little labels that are all left over from my paper pumpkin kits that I just don't use to stamp on, but they are perfect little labels, and they all happen to be outlined in gold. And then I have a few, oh, there's one more that I thought was an interesting shape, and it looks like the shape on my image as well, or my photo. I have a couple of gold that are kind of holographic gold from another Vicky Boutin little they're sticker pack rather than a book. And then I have these uber old gold stickers from Close to My Heart, as well as these little yellow bicycle cork stickers. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to include the tiny word stickers that I don't know who they're from. I want to say Tim Holtz, but I can't remember. I have some blue cardstock by Close to My Heart, and then some variations of some gold shimmer paper, or it's actually glitter paper. Now, some are from Close to My Heart and some are from Die Cuts with a View. And then I have some brown cardstock from Close to My Heart, and here is my photo. So I'm going to be doing an 8x8 page this time. Now, this is just a little insert in between a couple work photos that I had that is basically about this little bike. Now, Newmont, oh my god, Newmont had a bike made by the American Choppers, which was Paul Sr. and Jr. And this was back in the day when Paul branched off and had his own company when Sr. still had the OCC. So not that I know a whole lot. I used to watch them millions of years ago because I enjoyed the design of the bikes, but the drama of the fighting kind of turned it off. And so I stopped watching them. But when they came in and wanted to know more about Newmont, and in order to build this bike, they actually did a tour, and they did a tour of the mine site that I happened to be working at. And I was working the day that they walked in the door. And so it was kind of like a really huge, oh my god, fangirl moment, not from me, but most of the guys on the floor. They were like fangirling over all of these guys walking in. I actually got to meet Vinny, who's one of the welders, or fabricators, I should say, of the show. I got to meet him because back in the day, I was the only female mechanic on the floor, and they found it interesting that, all this equipment that's, 20 times my size, and I would want to work on it. And so, I kind of got a little interview of what they were curious, just like most people are. It wasn't my first one, but anywho, I was looking for the video or the episode that they created this bike on, and apparently all they did was did a reveal episode. I thought that it was an actual episode, of showing them putting the bike together and what the bike represented and what all the little elements on the bike represented. And I couldn't remember. And then I remembered that I was asking about it, and that's when they were telling me about it. Now, this bike, this photo was before the bike went on tour during Newmont's. They toured from one side of the country all the way to the other to get more employees. And so they hit all the colleges up and did like a job fair type thing. And this bike traveled with those people doing the job fair. And so this was a couple days right before the bike went on tour that I got a photo of it. I wasn't really impressed with it. Oh my gosh, that was rude. But it is a neat little bike, and all the little details and finding out why they did this and why they did that. So one of the things about the bike and what I'm trying to slowly build up to is also part of the design of my layout. One of the designs on the bike is the benches and the shelving that our open pit offers. So the first thing that you see is a whole bunch of little stairs, which aren't really little, they're actually huge, that the pit is created and constructed of, so that way the pit doesn't cave in on itself. And that was a huge design element that Paul Jr. brought into the bike. So you can see it in the rims of the of the wheels, and then you can also see it in the that little triangle portion that is attached to the side of the engine. Well, inside that triangle portion, the inside, down at the bottom of the benches, is actually a piece of gold that was pulled out of the pit that I worked with, that I worked for. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, that gold came from our pit, And so, it's kind of interesting knowing all of that stuff. And so I wanted my layout to represent those shelves as well. And so of course I made them out of different types of gold glitter paper that I had, just because of all the gold that was on the bike. Now I am using double-sided tape to put the brown pieces of cardstock in between the gold layers. Now I didn't like the gold layers all by themselves, so I'm very glad that I added the ripped, torn brown pieces, because it broke up those gold pieces, but it also gave it that dimension of it being like dug into, just like our shovels dig into the side of the benches, right? And so I really, really did like that add-on. And then, of course, I go circle crazy. I was trying to think of, other than hearts, because this is not a heart layout, what else do I put in there? And then I thought about all of these circles and whatnot, and thinking of gold nuggets is kind of what I was thinking. Now, in a typical mine site, you are not going to see the gold that is pulled out. It is microscopic. It is on a microscopic level and has to be leached out. And basically what that means is we take a big pile of dirt, throw it into a grinder. The grinder grinds it up super fine, and then it is sifted through by a huge thing that's called a grizzly. And then when that grizzly is done, it is put into a mill. And the mill, actually, it has like thousands and thousands of little balls, and they're not little, they're like 4-inch balls that eventually over time grind down to about 1.5 inches, and then that's when they're no good and they have to be replaced. But the balls grind it down even farther, and then it is put out on a leach field, which is basically this big old huge pond, and a lot of water mixed with a bunch of chemicals that are not safe for people, but it is far away that nobody actually goes out there. But the pond, the magic water that is put over all of this dirt is filtered through. And so basically what it's doing is it's pulling out these microscopic little pieces of gold from the dirt. And then that gold goes down into a funnel, which ends up in our CIC plant, which is carbon and carbon plant. And so it is filtered for more. I mean, it is a huge process, you guys, super huge, until we finally get our ounces, yes, ounces of gold out of this dirt. But it is a huge process. And so basically when I was making this layout, the circles in my brain, yes, they represented gold nuggets, but there is, you don't hardly see the gold at all in any of this stuff. We find fool's gold all the time, but we don't actually see any gold, real gold. In fact, it's frowned upon to pick up anything on the mine site except like a tool or garbage. So don't touch the rocks if you go out to a mine site. Anyways, just sticking on all of my little pieces, I'm adding the labels and such. Basically what I wanted to do is, like, there's a journaling spot. Clearly I'm not going to do this big old huge block of journaling underneath my photo. So I decided to use that kind of wonky square. It's not even a square. It's kind of a hexagon, a squished hexagon. And so that's going to represent my journaling spot. And then I put it on top of another label that kind of had the little zigzags, yet again, looking for ruggedness and all that stuff. And then the Vicky Bouton stickers, they don't stick, you guys. They're worse than thickers. And I'm glad that she has mentioned that herself, because I feel bad. But yeah, I just had to use extra glue to get them on. And then, of course, the unique word by Heidi Swap, I had to trim it down because it just had too big of a border. And then I'm adding the last little bit, which is, it brings me to what the prompt was today. The prompt was sequins. And so I have a bunch of these little leftover sequins from a paper pumpkin kit, And these are self-adhesive sequins, which makes them even better because I just pull them off the sheet and put them where I want them, and ta-da, they are here. I absolutely love this all gold layout, you guys. I never thought I would love all of this gold, but I think the help with the Vicky Bouton white little round stickers and all the labels that have just a little bit of gold around them, I think that helps immensely, but yet it is still an all gold layout, and I love how it looks, even though I kind of went over the top with the little hearts going across, and my circles were way more than what they had, but I still really enjoy how it turned out. Anywho, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to check out the list below in the description box that is underneath the video. You hit the little arrow or the show more button to see the grand list of everyone that is playing along this month with either Scraptember or 30 Days of Sketches, or both. Anyways, thank you again for watching, and I will check y'all later. Bye.